Thank you very much, Kristen, for some wagering insight and analysis. Let's get you out to Las Vegas, where Todd Fuhrman joins us live from the Caesars Sportsbook at Caesars Palace. Todd, let's start with the money coming into the casino right now. 57% of the tickets, nearly 70% of the money is coming in on the Cowboys at -3. Does that surprise you?
Well, what surprises me, Jeremy, is I think 68% of that is coming from the CBS Sports HQ staff that's out here partying like rock stars over the course of the last 72 hours. But when you look at the dynamic in play here, I think it's fascinating. When you see Tampa on one side with the pedigree, you mentioned it, or Chris Hassel did in the lead-in with Tom Brady's quest for his 8th Super Bowl, and a team that's underachieved all season. People are working under the mindset they flipped the switch and things are suddenly going to provide a much rosier outlook. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys are the more talented team, but all of those playoff shortcomings obviously raise a red flag. You wonder about Mike McCarthy's ability to devise a game plan and what the offense will look like under Kellen Moore. But the last thing I'll say on this particular topic is that books find themselves in a similar spot throughout the postseason. They would love the favorite to win the game but not cover the number. The best outcome for the house today would be the Cowboys winning this football game by 1 or 2.
And the total sitting at 45 and a hook. All right, let's get to some props here. Caesars has taken significant action on Rachaad White's rushing prop tonight, taking it from 40.5 to 34.5. But you are targeting the GOAT here on an over prop for the Bucs.
Well, we gave out Rachaad White under rushing yards earlier this week, so maybe we helped contributed to some of that windfall of cash that's coming in on the under there. But when you look at this Tampa offense, they've struggled all season long to run the football. I'm not exactly splitting the atom here with that analysis. They rank at the bottom of the league in a lot of the key offensive metrics. So if you're looking to devise a game plan to attack this Cowboys defense, it's Tom Brady early, it's Tom Brady often. And I think you're going to see Brady throwing much more, even on first down, something that Byron Leftwich has been reluctant to do this year. It's a short, controlled passing game. He's not going to have a ton of time in the pocket, but that's part of the reason that Tom Brady this season has one of the fastest releases of any quarterback in the league. So I look at his over-under for completions at 28.5, and I think if Tampa is winning, Brady's having success throwing the football, and if they're playing from behind, he's going to have to throw to get them back into it. I'm going to take him to flirt with 30, if not go well over that number today.
And with the return of Ryan Jensen, the Pro Bowl center and Super Bowl champion, it certainly helps Brady's odds tonight. He's hit that over, by the way, 28.5 completions 11 times this season. All right, let's look at a Bucs prop to go under. Who are you targeting, Todd?
So for me, all the talk is obviously about this Bucs receiving group. We know what Mike Evans is capable of doing on his best day. We know how Godwin operates from the slot, but at the same time, you dig into Mike Evans' productivity this year, and if you back out the performance against the Carolina Panthers when he was working largely against the third-string defensive back, the catch volume just hasn't been there. And a lot of that stems from Tampa's inability to protect Tom Brady. Mike Evans is the vertical threat in this offense, and if Brady doesn't have time to operate from a clean pocket, he's not going to be able to test opposing defenses with that deep ball. So I was surprised to see this over-under for Mike Evans listed at 5.5. I know you have to lay a substantial price to go under, right around that $1.60, $1.65 threshold, but I actually made this number closer to 4.5 with slight juice to the under. So I think you're getting a little bit of wiggle room here, knowing that going into that Carolina Panthers game, he'd gone under 5.5 receptions in 7 straight.
Interesting. The connection between Brady and Evans is strengthened over the past few weeks, but Todd going with the under, 5.5 receptions there. All right, staying on the underside of things, where are you putting your money in terms of the Cowboys?
I think when you look at this Cowboys team total, I actually believe it's a touch too high, and I have some real questions about this team offensively. You look at over what they've done over recent weeks, and sure, they've put up north of 24 points in a multitude of contests. Last week against the Washington Commanders, they were largely bottled up. You look at the Tennessee Titans, they don't offer much resistance in terms of their inability to stop the pass. You have a Jaguars game mixed in, the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts. This will be the healthiest the Bucs have been in their defensive backfield. You're talking about Antoine Winfield being out there, Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy, Bunting. So I think they're going to provide a little bit more resistance in that regard. And if the Cowboys are smart and strategic, they'll have to establish the ground game early. I think the Cowboys struggle to get to 24 points. I'll take their team total under 23.5.
Yeah, and you mentioned that stinker last week against the Commanders, and the Buccaneers held this team to just 3 points in Week 1. It's going to be interesting to see how the Bucs defense performs tonight. So if you're taking Cowboys team total under, what over prop are you betting for Dallas then?
So it's a little bit of a reverse correlation here, Jeremy, and I'm sure the viewers will be scratching their head going, wait a second. He doesn't think the Cowboys are going to score a ton of points, but believes that Dak Prescott can exceed his over-under for passing yards. But when I look at a game script where I think the Cowboys will be playing from behind tonight, they're going to have to trust Dak. They're going to have to deal with the turnovers that have plagued him over the latter portion of the schedule. And when you look at Dak, he hit rock bottom last week against the Commanders. We talked about it earlier, 14 of 37 in that performance. But since November, 7 of his 9 games, he's gone over his passing yardage total if it was set at 243.5 in all of those contests. And I think there are a number of ways that we can get this thing home. So I'm going to take Dak Prescott over. I talked about leaning on the ground game, but if the Cowboys are chasing a deficit here, I think Dak's going to have to put the team on his back.
Prescott hovering right around that number on average this season with 238 pass yards per game. Okay, Todd, we already went over the splits with the majority of the money coming in on the Cowboys. Mine sitting at that important number of 3 right now. So who are you siding with right now?
So this may not be a popular pick at our desk when we get into some of the previews as we inch closer to kickoff, but I'm going to take the home underdog here in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at this Bucs team, there's no doubt they underachieved all season long, and if the Carolina Panthers had a healthy J.C. Horn out there in Week 17, Carolina probably ends up winning that division. But one team has been here and done that, and I actually believe it's the Dallas Cowboys that come into the spot with all the pressure. If they start to struggle early, I think things can snowball on them. I want to give Byron Leftwich the benefit of the doubt that he's going to break tendency today, and instead of running every single series on first down, they're going to allow Tom Brady to throw. It's going to open up the playbook on second intermediate and hopefully third and short. And this Bucs defense is trending up from an overall health standpoint. I don't love their ability to get consistent pressure, but when I look at the Cowboys offensively, if you can at least neutralize the effectiveness of CeeDee Lamb, I have some question marks about a lot of the other weapons not named Tony Pollard for the Cowboys. I'll take the Bucs plus the 3 and hope they find a way to sneak inside this field goal price tag.
Todd Fuhrman joining us from Caesars Sportsbook at Caesars in Las Vegas. And Todd, we all know that it's you and Kenny White that are partying like the rock stars over there.
You know what, Jeremy? When you live out here as long as I have and Kenny has, it kind of becomes old hand. It's all the new guys that come in for that 72-hour binge. They're the ones that were going to the night games to watch Connor McDavid on Saturday. Kenny and I don't get to leave the office other than we have to come to set, break down the games, and provide some hard-hitting analysis. We leave the partying to everybody else here for a short visit.
Always appreciate you, Todd. We always appreciate you. Todd Fuhrman joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. And Todd, of course, part of our team over at Sportsline. And you can join Sportsline now for just $1. Go over to sportsline.com/join using the promo code TROPHY.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.